And the theme of tonight's class is the power of kindness. And what brought this topic up for me was my mother, when we were small, in a farming community outside of Chicago. She had this bowl, and I hated this bowl because she always gave it to us at opportune times. There were 4 children. We were all 2 years apart. And when we would start to argue or to carry on, she would always hand us this bowl. And it was a little bowl like this. And it was handwritten, and it was round, and it said, "If you can't say anything kind, don't say anything at all." And we did not like that bowl at all. But it was really the truth. If you can't say anything kind, don't say anything at all. And so that was the onset of my discovery that kindness is so important for every aspect in our lives. And my mother was that kind of a person. She was just kind. She hardly gossiped, and she didn't say bitter words, and she didn't say words that she resented. She didn't talk as much as most people. And then I grew up that with the underlying mythology of kindness. It was just a normal thing that she taught us. And then as life went on, I started applying it to every aspect of life, whether it was friendships or raising children or teaching. And then it went into business. Because in business we're so taught tit for tat, I win, you lose. If you win, then I must lose. It was kind of a situation like that. It was competitive and it was comparative. And that's called capitalism. And it's basically what we're taught. If you study business in university, if you study economy, in high school, we're taught that through competition, through competitiveness, through winning this, losing that. There had to be somebody to win, and then there had to be somebody that had to lose. And then you start growing up to new truths, such as in Buddhism, such as from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I cannot win unless you win. My happiness is dependent upon your happiness. And then the capitalism part of you kind of gets so confused with that. Well, how can that work? How can I be successful and my success is based on your success? But as we move towards this new Aquarian age, as we come into this dawning in 2012, we're starting to see the possibility of that. I get sometimes the opportunity of being with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and I was in Washington, D.C. when he was doing the Kali Chakra last July or August, July I think. There were maybe 40,000 people in a big stadium. And everybody was chatting and carrying on as usual. But it was always a soft chat before he comes because nobody knew when he would come in. And when he would come in, you could hear a pin drop. Stillness just reigned over everybody. But more than just stillness, it was he infused light in everybody's heart. He infused consciousness. And it was amazing for 10 days, this feeling that overtook us. One thing that he never has ever done is feel sorry for anybody. Because it does no one any good. But you have to have a deep understanding of karma, the law of cause and effect. And then you have to help that person get off the guinea pig wheel. And the way to help them out is to give them tools to open the door so they can get off the wheel and walk out of the cage. And they can never, if you continue to feel sorry for them. And that's why I love Kundalini Yoga so much, because it really has a real tool, and many tools as a matter of fact, that you want to get out of your situation. Yes, then do, and you teach them a meditation. And then they do it, and then the hamster wheel slows down a little, and slows down until the door opens, and they start walking into that possible freedom. And where is the freedom? It's out of your old mind. And that old mind is what holds the baggage, which keeps you a victim, that keeps you feeling sorry for yourself, no matter what it is, if it's dis-ease, if it's your past, whatever it is. And there's all stories that all of us have read that uplift us. And most of them is because they stepped out of I can't to I can and I will. We read amazing stories, don't we, about sports? The people that got the second win, the people that couldn't. Whenever we see one man running a marathon only with one leg and one steel leg from an amputee, we're always uplifted. Or when something happens, a feat beyond even the human mind could do. The helping, the rescuing, the whatever it is. Because those people have left their baggage behind. And we know that feeling too. For that moment, or that year, or that time as you're growing, it's because you're leaving the stuff behind. But you leave it behind with kindness and with forgiveness. You don't just sever it. I hate my mother, but I'm not going to deal with it. I'm never going to love her. I hate her. But you can't leave that baggage behind. It won't go off your back. It'll stay glued to you like a monkey until you can heal it. And once you heal it, the baggage dissolves. And that's the law. That's what happens. But as we know, the mind can't heal the mind. You can work and work and work and try to use the mind to heal the mind. It has to be beyond the mind. You can call it heart chakra, you can call it consciousness, you can call it shunya. There's a million, Buddha nature. There's a million different names for out of the mind and into a consciousness that gets a deeper understanding of the overall picture of your life and the universal life. And when you're able to jump into that realm, maybe it's just a moment. Maybe it's an insight in a meditation. Maybe it's something that happens. And you get little bit, you like kind of crack the cosmic egg. So you're able to penetrate deeper into what's really real and step out of the fantasy of who you think you are. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that we have now. We're living in, it could be one of the most exciting times that has ever been experienced on planet Earth, at least for the last 20,000 years. And how we all got here at this time, how we reincarnated at this time, and that we're all together meeting each other. That's what's really amazing, isn't it? How we're sitting in this amazing church, and how this church isn't a church anymore. That's kind of amazing. Every place we go, churches are for sale. What's that all about? Are people forgetting God, or are they forgetting it in this form? And how we get to be here. See? So, as we roll through tonight, the prayer is that we will fall into that consciousness of grace, consciousness of kindness. And the beauty of it is this. It's our inherent nature to be kind. It's nothing in sense you have to develop or learn or skill or take a how to do it course. Once we're able to let the baggage go, then what's underneath is this jewel of kindness. It's our nature to be this way. And for all of us who have perhaps gifts, perhaps time, whatever it was, that surging feeling, that's kindness, that happiness that comes from the giving without the getting. Like if you're nursing, yeah, you do get that look from your child, but that you nurse that child. And that child is satisfied now, and is just lying there like drunk on the nectar of the milk and on your love. There's no feeling like it. They just, I'm satisfied now. And the nurturing that we do as men, as women, as humans with each other, whether it's in conversation, whether it's hugging, whether it's an actual physical gift. If you count up that amount of happiness versus just going shopping for yourself, it's a different kind of happiness. The happiness when you get those pair of boots you've been looking for, it's very exciting and you kind of get a titillation and like that. You know, I don't know, it's a rush. I get the rush. But it doesn't last in the heart as long. I don't even know if it is in the heart where you get it from. But the giving, it lasts in the heart forever, doesn't it? I had an example just on, when did we come here? When did we come here? What day is this day? Is this Sunday? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, okay. I was in New York on Sunday, and we were teaching, right? Yeah. And so I took a friend out shopping, because I just knew she needed some things, and she needed the happiness of being bought some things. And I had gone shopping a couple of days before, and I got a few things for me, this, that, whatever. And it was okay. It was cute, it was nice, everything was on sale. But when I took her, well, it was, sales are crazy. When I took her, and we got some cute things for her to wear, and then we went over to sort of a table and got her, you know one of those things you stick it in, you whip up soup? Yeah. What are they called? Hand blender, that one blender. I give it to a lot of newlyweds or people that don't cook, because I say you gotta woo your family, or you gotta woo your new husband, because they'll think, or invite some people over, because they'll be amazed at the soup you're gonna make. They'll think, God, how did you do this? And all you did was put in the pot celery, garlic, onions, ginger, miso, and potatoes, boil it up in water and go, and you have this unbelievable soup. And you don't have to put it in the blender, blend it in that big mess, you know. And then you can even take the pot, put the lid on, and put it in your refrigerator to heat it up the next day. It's just, if you want to give anyone a gift for $39.95, that is the gift. So we did that and got her a few pieces of clothing. That night, I went home, and when I laid in bed, I was just tickled. I was tickled because she was tickled. And it was a different tickle than me buying a new pair of boots for myself. And what a great experience that was. Not that I didn't know it, but to have on the one hand me, and on the other hand you and we. And it was just a divine experience. And my mother was that way. She was so kind and so non-judgmental. I think kindness comes, kindness is hard when you have a lot of opinions and judgments. And you like this person, you like what they do, you don't like what they do. You want to get to this person, but you won't get to that person. That's not kindness. That's, no. Kindness is straight across the board. And we know people, and I'm sure some of you are those people. If someone's driving you in a taxi, if you're in security in the airport, if you're even talking to someone who isn't nice to you, if you can return in kindness, it's easy to be kind to kind people. But the test is when people are not reciprocally kind back. Then if you can do that, then you really won. And the best, most successful, long-term business people who are successful monetarily, successful in helping others, they're always kind. Now, does kind mean mushy? Does kind mean just putting the wool over your eyes and not seeing people? No. You need discernment. Otherwise, you're stupid. Discrimination? No. Discernment? Yes. You need to see the potential of another human being. You need to see their tendencies. So if they betray you, or if they're not smart in this or that, you're not all bent out of shape because you knew that possibility and you signed up for that possibility, and then you're never a victim of anybody. And you can still be kind. Be kind. And that's probably a rule of thumb, not just to human beings, but to animals, to creatures, to everyone. You know, the religion called the Jains, do you all know that religion? It's from India. And even the Jain monks who we've traveled with, they even wear these big white flaps over their lips because they don't want to, by mistake, I've never swallowed a bug, but they don't want to take a chance of even bugs going in their mouth. When they walk, they have to walk slowly and see if they don't walk on bugs or ants or anything. They don't even eat honey because honey is taking from the bees, their food. They don't eat meat, fish, eggs. They don't eat dairy. They're like amazing human beings. They're healthy human beings. And you want to know what? They're the most prosperous people in India. The gentlest souls are the most prosperous, monetarily, business-wise. So you don't have to eat a steak a day to be prosperous and to be a real Marlboro person. You know, that's capitalism. That's shooting low. You know, like being, you know, putting your dukes up and all that. I win, you lose, and all that. That's madmen. That's the 60s. That is so over now. Not on Wall Street now, although they're getting a bit shook up. Not politically, but it will be. It will be. It's dying. It's bigger than life, and it's so Neanderthal, is all I can say. It's reptilian. When you really think of it, it's really stupid. Because they never really get happiness. They never really get what they want, because they're never satisfied. It's more, 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 more. And that's not going to be the way it is with the generations coming in. The generations coming in, just like when I was a hippie, we said no more. We're not going to live like you lived. And now there's a generation coming in. My daughter is 27 and she taught a workshop at Golden Bridge, New York. And I taught a workshop in Toronto last night, both at the same time. And I called her and I said, Wawa, I said, are you afraid? She says, no, why? No, why? It's your first workshop. I mean, you know, even me, who has been teaching it for years. And she said, no. She said, it'll be a lot of fun. And it was. She had a ball. So our young people, if they're not too pulled into the old ways by parents who think old ways, think differently, and let them think differently. Don't cookie cutter them like you, because you don't know anything. Same as I don't. Not their ways. I was with two twins in New York. They're 3 years old, a very dear friend of mine. And one is the low spectrum of autism. Now children are, 1 out of 6 children in America are autistic on some level of spectrum. And so I was with little Jack, and he's doing really, really well. But I was observing them in their home in New York. And every time he passes a mirror or a reflection in a window, he stops. And he looks at himself. And then he sees the unseen, and that's what I told his parents. This little guy sees the unseen. And all these children come from a different dimension, and they've come here to teach us something. And we should study them with great reverence, because we're trying to cookie cutter them. They don't say X amount of words by the time they're 2. They get tested, there's something wrong, they like that. And I watched him, and he is like such a delight because his parents haven't sat on him. His parents aren't working out of fear. They're really working out of wisdom. They're very evolved people. And I have another very dear friend who has an 8-year-old Down child. The mother was 27 years old, which you shouldn't have a Down child according to everyone when you're 27, but she did. And they did all the research And they linked up with really conscious people that are working with Down children, an institute in Utah. And through all these physical exercises and different things they did with her in a spiritual upbringing and a vegetarian diet and all kinds. This girl's in 4th grade in a regular school, long limbs, gorgeous child. Yes, her face looks like a Down child, but she's pretty and she smiles and she knows who she is. It's amazing. And the same child could have been institutionalized or put in a corner or just not worked out at all in their family structure of what they wanted. But they just worked, and they went on to have a son who was not Down, but she's everybody's favorite at school. Same as Jack, this little boy. Hugs everybody. I love you. I love you. I mean, what's wrong with that? So it's a time to just take a look at everybody we're living with on the planet, because they're dropping in from all different places now to teach us so much about kindness, so much about the heart, so much about the Aquarian age that's upon us now, that's based on heart. Think less, feel more, do yoga. Don't hurt animals. Do all of the sweetness in the life that the mind won't cooperate in that thinking, but it's the way to go now. It really is the way to go for your health, for your happiness, for your economic success, for your marriages, for your children, for growing old. It's time to be kind. It's time to make precedence in kindness in the heart, because nothing else is working now, and most of you know that. You're stressed, you can't sleep, you worry, you fight, you argue. Businesses change, the world is changing, and you're forerunners of it if you're sitting here tonight. Because there's probably 100 times more this number that are sitting in pubs and bars now, feeling downtrodden because they can't figure anything out, and they're still blaming everybody else for their lives and for the excuses of why they have to drink. Some of us have been there, I know, but we're sitting here tonight. So we're very blessed in this new year to be here and to be in this beautiful, cold, icy city where it feels so warm because we're next to each other's hearts. So, with that in mind, let us begin our journey, okay?